Greetings, YouTube. I'll be linking to an article today that deals with stalking harassment of a woman who wrote about a man who would like to become world famous as a player of video games. And the passage itself is somewhat horrible, but I'm going to read it anyway because it shows a mental state that is, I'm not even sure is completely healthy, but I am now his designated excuse for every failure he's ever had, past or present. I will become his everlasting excuse for the next 4 years. When he fails to obtain respect from the classic gaming community he desperately seeks adoration from, I am his reason for why that is so. When he fails to convince others to buy into his ludicrous delusions that playing the NES professionally is a skill worthy of being paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for, I am the reason why that is not so. And when he fails to make national headlines for taking a world record on an NES game title like Home Alone, Jaws, or DuckTales, his delusions of grandeur are never to blame. I am. And the title of the article is When Harassment Becomes a Game. And it deals not only with this man himself, who's been harassing this woman, but with the community that essentially eggs him on, that fuels the fire because they don't want his wrath aimed at them, and they're also misogynists, but they want to do it passively. So they just egg on the harasser and the abuser. Now, it's horrible, and I suggest you go take a look at it. And the thread under it here on Metafilter is quite good. But there was one line that stuck out to me, which is the title of this particular video, which is "Diverse Spaces Are Not a Threat." And that really resonated with me. The idea that some men have created these secret garden communities, comic book shops, role-playing communities, online gaming communities, fantasy football, sports, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It could be classic cars or dirt track racing. It doesn't matter. They've created these communities of male exclusivity. And when women attempt to intrude into them, or racial diversity enters their realm, or the LGBT community, or foreign nationals, or Muslims, or anything, it doesn't matter. The reaction is absolute bigotry and vile harassment and stalking and abuse. And it's like this reflexive defensive mechanism. You know that you can't have it. And that's what it sounds like. Except it's horrible. And people's lives are being ruined because of it. But it's the petulant ravings of a child. A violent child. A child who will stalk and harass and dox and ruin another person's life because that person dares enter the realm that they have created for themselves, all the while claiming that the concepts of a safe space is ludicrous, even though they have created themselves a safe space and don't want anyone to enter it. And I've seen this behavior time and again. And this article is just the latest example that's really defining it for me. It's horrible. And it's ruining lives. And it's limiting other people's access to hobbies and to forms of entertainment. And I'm just talking about this is the minor stuff I'm discussing. I'm not discussing things like the institutional misogyny and racism that keep people from getting jobs or housing or all the other things. Those still exist, and they're far worse than this. But I'm just discussing this low-level crap. I'm discussing the things that should be no-brainers. Who cares if your community that you have aligned yourself with is diverse? How does that threaten you? It doesn't. You are not at threat because a woman wants to play classic video games or have an opinion about them. It is not a threat if a woman walks into your favorite comic book store. It is not a threat if a woman or a Muslim or a black guy wants to do dirt track racing or go-karts, but you don't want them in your exclusive club. No, we don't want that here. And it's ironic, and it's sad, and it's horrible, and it's hypocritical. And it's mystifying to me. Why is diversity seen as a threat by you? What is wrong with your fandoms, with your hobbies, having a diverse membership? I doubt anyone who's actually in these communities is ever going to see this video. But maybe someone can explain it to me. Someone that isn't a raving bigot. Maybe they can explain to me why their inner knowledge of some of these communities might be helpful here, or how their inner knowledge of this might be helpful here. Because I'm mystified. Because diversity is not a threat. It never has been. And I just don't get it. But in closing, don't harass people just because they want to be a member of your community. It's not good. It's not legal. And it makes your community look really bad. And it makes the angry, flailing men children in it look just like that.